This video would help you understand all the features that we offer as an integrated marketing, sales, and service automation platform, along with live chat. We will see how you could use all these features for your business. Once you have an account with EngageBay and you log into it, this is the screen that you're going to land on. This is the marketing dashboard, and as you can see, the platform is divided into 4 modules: marketing, sales, service, and live chat. Based on the features that you wish to access, you could switch to these modules accordingly. Then on all the dashboards, you would see reports that you could add to them and view them at a glance when you first log in. These are the different reports that you could add to the marketing dashboard, just like I have on my dashboard here: contact created dashboard and then the landing page performance. So based on what kind of reports you want to see, you can add them from the dashboard, and then under the marketing piece we have contacts. You can segregate your contacts and get them added to lists. Whenever you're running your campaigns, you can choose contacts on those specific lists. You could create inline and pop-up forms on EngageBay and add them to your website. And once somebody submits their details on the form, they would automatically be captured as contacts. Let's say you have a promotional offer that you're planning to run, or maybe a new product that you're planning to launch. Rather than creating a page on your website for these temporary purposes, you could actually create a landing page on EngageBay and share the URL of the landing page on your email marketing campaigns to direct your clients to the pages that you want them to take a look at. Or maybe when you schedule posts to social media, you can use the URL of that page on those posts to direct your clients to these pages. Then we have email and video templates that you could create and save on your account and use them when you're running your campaigns. To run your campaigns, we have different ways. If you want to send out a newsletter to all your contacts, the best way to do that would be to create an email broadcast, or you want to send out an SMS to all your clients. You could do that through SMS broadcast feature. Then you want to send out a series of emails to your contacts, one after the other, with a certain delay between each email: email 1 on day 1, email 2 on day 2, email 3 on day 3, and so on. You could set up a sequence for that. And then we have automations and workflows as well. So let's take a look at each of these features briefly. The first thing you would like to do when you adapt to a platform like EngageBay is to bring in all the contacts that you have onto the platform. If you already have them on a CSV file, you can actually import that CSV file to bring in all your contacts. Here's the option to import. Click on it and just choose the file that you want to import, and once you choose the file and upload it, it will ask you to merge the different fields. Let me try and do a sample import. There we go. So I just choose the file that I want to import. This is a sample file with minimal fields. So I just choose to upload. Then it's going to ask me which field goes on to which field on EngageBay. I just choose to merge them accordingly. Like the name goes into name, email goes into email, the role to role, the phone number goes into the phone number, the company name goes into company name. If you have any custom fields, you can merge those fields accordingly as well. Then you want to get a tag added to all these contacts. If you already have tagged on the CSV file, you can choose to get them added as a tag, or you want to add an additional tag to all the contacts that you're importing. You can add the tag here, and all contacts you're importing would get that tag added. You want to import invalid contacts or merge duplicates. You have those options too. You could even validate your lists before you import them. Or you want to send out double opt-in emails to your contacts. You could do that too. And once you hit import, the import process gets initiated and all the contacts that you have in the file would get added to EngageBay. So once you go back to the contact list, or once the import is complete, you would see all the contacts that you have on your account or the ones that you imported on the contacts section here. If you want to filter all the contacts based on the different criteria that we have, like you want to filter all the contacts from a certain city or from a certain country, Or maybe if you have tags added on them, you want to filter using those tags, you could do that. We add a tag called sign up to everyone who signs up for an account with us. If you want to filter all these contacts which have a tag on them, here is the list. Now, if you want to perform any bulk actions on all these contacts, like sending out an email to them, or add another tag, delete an existing tag, maybe add them to an email sequence that you created, which we're going to look at when we're talking about campaigns, or send out an SMS or add them to a list. You have all these actions that you could perform in one shot on all the contacts that you've selected here. And then there are different kinds of lists that we offer. In fact, 2 of them static and then a smart list. So when you go to create a list, it would ask you to give it a name, you just give it a name, I'm going to call it DB test. And then based on what you want to create a static list or a smart list, you could choose accordingly. A static list is something where you create the list and then you manually choose the contacts that you want to add to the list and get them added to the list. Whereas you can also create a smart list which will involve that you add a condition to that list. So let's say all the contacts with that tag which we used to filter, I want to get them added to the list automatically. All these contacts that satisfy the condition would get added to the list. As you can see here, you want to add additional conditions. You can do that too, and all the contacts that would satisfy all these conditions would automatically get added to the list. If you want to satisfy all the conditions or you want to meet any of the conditions based on that, you can add the conditions accordingly. Once you save it, all the contacts that satisfy the conditions would automatically get added to the list, and then whenever you're running your campaigns, you can choose contacts on those specific lists only, which we would discuss again when we were talking about campaigns. There are 2 kinds of forms that we offer: inline and pop-up forms. So let's see how we could create each of them and what is the differences between both of them. So to create an inline form, you just go to click on Create Inline Form, and then these are the design templates that we have. You can choose the one that you want to use. And if you want to build something from scratch, we have a custom option as well. So let's say you want to pick this particular template here. You can choose to do that, and then once it loads, you want to change the text that is displayed on the form. You want to change this text which says sign up today for free. You can change that from here. You want to change the description. You can change that from here. You want to add an image to the form or change the existing background image. You can do that. You can choose the position as to where you want to position this form on the website. Then you want to change the look and feel so it matches the look and feel of your website. Like change the font color, the font family, backgrounds, and then choose the size of the form, the background color for the button, the background color for the text. You have those options here, and then what kind of details you want to capture on the form. So in this particular form, as you can see, you're only asking for the email address, or if you want to capture more details like first name, phone number, or any other field that you want to add. You can do that, including custom field that you create on your account. You'll be able to add them to the form, and then you want to rearrange them based on where you want to show them on the form. Like if you want to show the first name at the top, you can just drag and drop it to the top. And then once you're done choosing all the fields, you can go to the Settings tab to display the message that you want to show them. When somebody submits the details on the form, or you want to redirect them to another page, you can put the redirection URL here. And if you have multiple users on your account, you want to notify them when somebody fills out a form on your website, you can certainly choose to do that. You can choose all the users that you want to notify when somebody fills out a form. And then if you have clients based out of Europe where GDPR is a big compliance, you can even enable double opt-in emails to be sent to them. But please note that once you enable double opt-in emails to be sent out, no further emails would be sent to them from the system until they opt in to receive communications from you. Or you simply want to send an auto-response email. Once somebody submits the details on the form, you can set that up as well. Or just say thank you for submitting their details. You can set that up from here. And once somebody submits the details on the form, you'd be able to send them an email, and all the contacts who fill out a certain form, you'd be able to see them on the contact section of the form. So once you create an inline form and then save it on your account, when you go to that form and go to the Settings tab, you would see the code corresponding to the form. So all you have to do is copy this piece of code and paste it on the back end of your website based on which page you want to show this form on, and this form shows up on that page in addition to this, based on how your website was built. If it was built using WordPress, for example, we do have a plugin for WordPress. You could just install the WordPress plugin to get the forms that you create on engagement to show up on your website. If it's not a WordPress site, no worries, you can always go ahead and copy the tracking code associated to your account and paste it on the back end of your website. It is just once that you add the tracking code to your website, and then and when you create an online form, you copy the embed code corresponding to that form and paste it on the page based on which page you want to show that form on. So to show you an example, this is an inline form that's on our website. We are asking for name, email, and a phone number for them to go ahead and submit their details, and once they do, we would automatically receive those contacts with the details. You could set up a similar form on your website and get your visitors' details into the contact section. In addition to that, you could also go ahead and apply a filter to filter all the contacts that filled out a certain form. You can go to the filters section here and then scroll down until you find something which says source. There we go. And then source is inline form. If you have multiple forms, choose which form and it's going to show you all the contacts that filled out this particular form on your website. There we go. And you want to get them added to a list, you can certainly do that as well through bulk action so that you can run campaigns on those specific lists. We also have something called pop-up forms. Let's see how you could build a pop-up form and go about using it. Based on the styles that you want to use, you want to show that as a pop-up message or maybe a notification bar on the bottom left or on the bottom right, you can choose that. You want to enable any call to actions, you can set up call to actions as well. And then we have similar themes or designs that we had for inline forms available for pop-up forms too. They can pick from any of these. So let's say I want to pick this particular one here, and then just like for the inline form, you want to change the text or the description, add an image or add a background image, choose the position, the footer message. You have all those options for pop-ups as well. And then you want to add more fields, you can do that for the pop-up forms too. And then once you go to the Settings tab, you can choose which page of your website you want to show this form on. If you want to show this on a certain page, you can put the URL of that page here, or you want to show this on pages which contain a certain term, like maybe on your pricing page or probably on your blog page, you can choose to do that. Then when do you want to show this? When somebody tries to exit out of that page, or after they scroll through a certain portion of the page, maybe once they are halfway through the page, or after they spend a certain amount of time on the page, maybe after they spend 20 seconds on that page. That is when you want to show this pop up to them. You can set that up accordingly and then double opt-in. Thank you autoresponder, all those options are available for pop-ups as well. Of course, all the contacts that fill out a pop-up, you would be able to see them here too. And also when you go to the main contact section, you apply a filter using source is pop-up and you'll be able to see all the contacts will fill out a certain pop-up. There's no code associated to a pop-up. Once you have the tracking code from the account settings section, added to the website based on the page URL that you insert on the settings part of the pop-up form, the pop-up would show up on those pages automatically. We also have a landing page builder. If you have a new product that you're planning to launch or maybe a promotional offer that you're planning to run, rather than creating a page on your website for these temporary purposes, You could create a landing page on EngageBay and share the URL of that page on your email marketing campaigns or on the post that you schedule to social media to direct your clients to those pages. So let's see how we could create landing page on EngageBay. Once you click on Create a Landing Page, you have two options. Either choose from any of these themes that are available, or if you already have an HTML code, you can use that code to create a page, or you want to start coding from scratch, or if you already have a code available, you can paste that code too. Or you want to import from a URL, you can do that as well. But let's go ahead and see how we could use the predefined templates that we offer to build a landing page on EngageBay. So let's say I want to pick this particular template here. I choose the template, and then once it's loaded, we can go ahead and customize everything on that page. Based on the images that you want to use, based on the text you want to use on that page, you have all those options available to customize it based on how you want the page to look like. If you want to change the background image that is being loaded here, you can do that. Just click on Edit and you will see the option to change the image. Based on what kind of image you want to use, you can go ahead and choose that as a background image for this particular block. You want to change something on this text block here. You can edit the text, or if you want to move it to the right somewhere here, you can just drag and drop it there. You want to change something on this text here. You can do that. You want to edit the text that is displayed here. You can choose to do that. You want to delete this block completely. You can choose to delete it as well. And then this is a form that is added to the landing page. If I want to delete this, I can delete that. So based on what kind of content you want to add, let's say you want to add a text block somewhere here. You can just drag and drop it to the builder. Upload your text. You want to add another image, you may do so. Based on where you want to position the image, you can drag and drop it accordingly, and then click on Edit to upload the image that you want to use, or you want to add a button somewhere. You can certainly do that. You want to add a button somewhere here, change the text inside it. You can choose to do that. You want to change the background color for the button. Choose a different color. You can certainly do that. You want to add a URL so that when somebody clicks on the button, you want to direct them to a certain page. You can put the URL of the page here, and then you want to add a form or a pop-up form that you've created on EngageBay to this landing page so you can capture further details. You can choose to do that. Place the form here, then once I click on Edit, it will ask me to choose which form I want to use. So these are the different inline forms that I have. So based on the one that I want to use, I can go ahead and choose the form, and the form gets added to the landing page here. You can choose to edit the size so that you see all the fields on it. You have the options here to increase the size. Here is a form with two details, email address and the city. And once they submit the details, you receive them as contacts, or if the contact already exists, it's going to be updated with the information they provided. And then these are the different blocks. So let's say you want to add a header to this page. You can just drag and drop it to the builder, and then you can customize it. You want to change the logo and a code, your company's logo. You can certainly choose to do that. You just click on Edit and you will see the option to change the image. You want to change something on this text blocks here. You can do that. You want to change something on this button. You have the option to edit the text, put the text that you want to show on the button. Change the background color. You want to pick a different color. You can do that. You want to add a URL. So once somebody clicks on the button, you want to direct them to those pages. You can set that up here. You want to add your social profiles, like your Facebook page, your Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, you can do that. And once somebody clicks on that, you can direct them to your social media pages. And then you want to pick another block, you have these different blocks. Let's say I want to pick this one. I can do that. I just drag and drop it to the builder and I can customize that block again. If I want to change the image that is being used here, I can do that. If I want to change the text or maybe move this button to the right-hand corner, I can just drag and drop it here if I want to change the text. I mean, the image that is being used here, I can certainly choose to edit and replace the image with a different one if I need to. If I want to change the background image for this block, I can click on Edit and change the image that is being used in the background. So based on how you want to customize it, you can choose the different elements, the contents and blocks that we offer, and then you can even customize the page properties like the width at the top, the margin at the top, background color, the font styles, the font family, the font color. Pretty much everything can be customized based on how you want the page to look like, and then you want to see how it looks like on a mobile or on your web browser, and then how it looks like on a mobile browser. You have the option to choose that. You can check how it looks like on a mobile browser, and then you want to change something on this. You can certainly do that. So you want to rearrange these blocks. You have those options to do that. Once you're done, you just save it and it gets saved to the list of landing pages on your account. And when you go back to the landing pages section, you would see the option to copy the URL. You can just copy the URL and share it on your email marketing campaigns to direct your clients to pages that you want them to take a look at. If you're concerned about the URL showing yahoo-ebsites.com, you don't have to. You also have the option to add a name record to your DNS server and customize the URL based on how you want it to look like, and it looks like a page on your domain. And then moving on to the email template section, it's just like the landing page builder. Again, we have different themes that you could choose from to create a template, or you want to code your own templates. You have the option to do that as well. If you already have an HTML code, you can use that codito create a template. Or you always have the option to choose from any of these predefined templates that we offer. When you click on Create New, these are the different templates under each category. For e-commerce, we have different templates. Set on the category that you choose, you will see different templates. I can pick any of these. Just like the landing page builder, you can customize everything on these as well. So let's say I want to go ahead and pick this particular template. I can do that, and I can customize everything on the template as well. If I want to change the logo that shows up here, I can choose to change the image and upload my company's logo if I need to. If I want to change something on this text block here, I can do that. Edit the text, or maybe change the background color, or change the image that is being used, I can do that. If I want to delete this block, I can choose to delete the block. And then these are the different blocks that we offer. As you can see on the right-hand side, let's say I want to use a 2-column block. I can just drag and drop it to the builder. And then what content I want to use, I want to use text on the left, inside maybe an image. On the right-hand side, I can choose drag and drop the content accordingly. Then I can go ahead and upload the image that I want to use by changing the image. And then if I want to change the text here, I can edit the text and upload the text that I want to use. I want to change something on this image, replace it with another one, or maybe change something on this button here. I have the option to do that. You want to delete this block completely. You can choose to delete the block as well. And then based on the different blocks that you see here, you can choose any of these. Let's say you want to do a 3-column block this time, you just drag and drop it to the builder. You want to add an image to the left-hand side and maybe a text in between, and then an image on the right-hand side. You can choose to do that. So based on how you want to build a template, you can choose the different blocks and content that we offer. Again, everything pertaining to the body. You want to customize the width, the background color, the font family. You have all those options to customize. Once you're done, you can look for a preview as to how it looks on a web browser, on a mobile device, or a tablet, or laptop or desktop, you can see the preview. Once you're done, you just save it and it gets saved to the list of email templates on your account. And you can use them when you're running your campaigns. In addition to email templates, we also offer video templates. So let's see how you could create a video templates on EngageBay. If you want to just record a video and save it as a template, you could do that. Or if you already have existing videos, you can certainly go ahead and add them to EngageBay and save it as a video template and use it when you're running your campaigns. Let's see how we could run campaigns on EngageBay. As I said, you want to send out a newsletter to all your contacts in one shot. The best way to do that on EngageBay would be to use our email broadcast feature. So let's see how we could create a broadcast on EngageBay. You just give it a name for internal purposes so that you know which email was sent for what reason. And on the next screen, it will ask you to choose a subject line that you want to use for this email. So you can put in the subject line, say "Welcome to EngageBay." Then you want to show them a preview text before they open the email. What you want to show on the inbox before they actually open the email. You can add a preview text here. Then you want to choose the email address that you want to use to send out this email. You can pick from all the email address that you add to your account, and then you want to receive replies to a different email address than the one that you're using to send the email. You can put the reply to email address here on the next screen. It will allow you to choose the contacts as to who you want to send this email to. Here's where you can choose either all the contacts that you have on your account to send out this email to, or you want to send it to those specific lists that you created and saved on your account. You can choose those specific lists only, then you want to create a template for this particular email and use that. You could do that, or you can do a plain text email as well. And even when you're doing a plain text, you would see the option to insert the email templates that you created and saved. So you want to personalize using their first name. So an email that's going to Andy would automatically say "Hi, Andy" on it. An email that's going to Rob would automatically say "Hi, Rob" on it. So you can choose to personalize it, and you can pick the email template that you created and save to the email templates section and use them as part of this email. I choose this particular template here, and on the next screen it would show me a summary of how the campaign looks like, as to who is it going from, what's the subject line, how many contacts you've chosen. If there's any spam content on the email, it's going to notify you as well. Once you're good to go, you can click on Start Broadcast for the email to be sent to all the contacts that you've selected here, or you want to send a test email to yourself before you send it out to your list to see how it looks like. You can do that. Then you want to schedule it for a later time. You can choose to do that as well. So the best part of running an email broadcast is once it is complete, you would have all the stats pertaining to that available to you. So this was an email broadcast that we created earlier or sent out earlier this month. This was an email that was sent to 358 contacts, as you could see, out of which 48 actually opened it. So if I want to see who are these 48 who opened the email, you would see the list on the right-hand side. There we go. You want to choose all these 48 who opened the email and maybe add a tag to them or add them to a list so that you can run another campaign on them. You could do that, and as you notice, it was sent to 358 contacts, out of which only 48 actually opened it. But there are a good 300 plus contacts who are yet to open this email. If I want to resend the same email to the contacts who did not open the email yet, I have the resend button here. I just click on resend. Then if I want to change the subject line to what I used earlier, I can change that. And then on the next screen, it would allow you to add a condition. So I'm going to add a condition saying email is not opened and I can resend that email to the contacts who did not open it when it was sent to them the first time. So on the next screen, it would show me the content that I used the last time. If I want to use the same content, I can do that. If I want to change the content, I can certainly go ahead and change the content as well. Then once it's done, I can go ahead and choose to send it or schedule it for a later time. And this email would be sent to all the contacts who did not open my email when it was sent to them the first time. Moving on to email sequences, as I said, if you want to send out a series of emails to your contacts one after the other with a certain delay between each email, like email 1 on day 1, email 2 on day 3, email 3 on day 5. The best way to do that would be to set up an email sequence on EngageBay. So how do you set up a sequence? This is the first email. On my sequence, I type in my subject and the content that I want to use for the first email, personalize it or add email templates that I created and saved to the email template section. I can do that even for the sequence email. I'm choosing the same template. And then when do you want to send it? So probably you want to send it the same day once you add contacts to the sequence. You don't want to send out over the weekends. You can certainly uncheck Saturdays and Sundays, and then you want to do a second email. Click on Add Email, type in the subject and the content again for the second email, and then choose the delay as to when you want to send the second email. So maybe 3 days after the first email was sent out. As you can see, 3 days after the last email, for 3 days from the day you send out the first email, the second email is going to go out to them. You want to do a third email. So again, click on Add Email, type in the subject and the content for the third email, and then when you want to get this delivered, maybe 3 days after the second email is sent. You can add as many emails as you wish to the sequence, and you just type in the subject and the content for each and then choose a delay as to when you want to get this sent. Once you save the sequence, you can either go back to the list of contacts or filter them based on a certain criteria who you want to send it to. You want to go to a list and choose all contacts on that list. You can certainly do that. Once you choose all of them, go to Bulk Actions. You would see the option to add them to the sequence. So you can choose the sequence that you want to add them to. Once you hit Done, all these contacts would be added to the sequence and the emails that you line up on the sequence would be delivered to them one after the other based on the delay that you set up between each email. That's a manual way of adding contacts to a sequence. But we would also see how you could get contacts added to a sequence automatically as well. We also have SMS broadcast, but this will involve that you need to integrate any of the third-party services that we integrate with. These are the different platforms that we integrate with for SMS. You can integrate with Plivo, Twilio, Just Call for global SMS. Once you integrate with any of these platforms, you would be able to send out SMS directly from within EngageBay. You want to create an SMS broadcast. It will ask you to choose a service provider based on which provider you've integrated with, and then the provider would actually give you a number. You can choose the number that you want to use to send out those SMS. Then you can type in your message based on what is that you want to send as part of the SMS. You want to personalize using the personalization options. You could do that as well. And then who do you want to send this SMS to? You want to send it to all the contact that you have on your account or to those specific lists. Only you can choose the list. Then once you hit Next, you will see the option to send the SMS, and SMS would be sent to all the contact that you've selected here. Moving on to automations. The most important feature or the reason why we call ourselves a marketing automation platform is because of this particular feature that you're looking at here. So let's see how we could build an automation from scratch. Once the builder loads, and once I choose to create an automation, it will ask me to choose a trigger as to who you want to run the automation on. Here we go. Once I click on Create an Automation, these are the different triggers that I could choose from to trigger an automation. Somebody who's joining a form that I have on my website, or somebody who's joining through a pop-up form that I created and added to my website, or when somebody joins a sequence that I have, or when you remove a tag from a certain contact or add a new tag to them, or when they click on a link that you sent to them on an email, or based on once they open an email. So these are the different triggers that you could choose from to trigger an automation. So let's say I want to run an automation on all the contacts who are filling out a form that I added to my website. I choose that as a trigger, and then it would ask me to choose a form. Considering that I have multiple forms, it would need to choose which form. Let's say I want to trigger an automation all the contacts who are filling out this particular form on my website. I choose that as the event. Now, what is it that I want to do as part of this automation? Once somebody fills out a form, I probably want to go ahead and add them to the email sequence that I created. So I can start sending out those emails automatically, one after the other, based on the delay that I set up on the sequence. I choose to add them to the sequence, then I connect them both. As and when there's a contact that fills out a form, they would automatically get added to the sequence, and the emails that you line up on the sequence would be delivered to them one after the other based on the delay that you set up between each email. Now, once you are sending out those emails, as a next step, you'd probably want to check if somebody is opening those emails that you're sending out. You could do that to rough the automation. You have these conditions too, so there are actions and conditions. You go to condition and then click the condition which says has opened email. It would ask you to choose which email you want to check for opens on because we sent multiple emails as part of that sequence. I want to check for opens on this particular email. And how long do you want to wait for before they open the email? I'll probably wait for a day. You're free to choose the delay. Just taking one day as an example. And you connect them both. Now, once somebody opens the email, what do you want to do with them? And if they did not open it, what do you want to do with them? So let's say all the contacts have opened my email. I want to give them a score of 10 points. I choose to add score and give them a score of 10 points. And I connect them both. There were 3 emails I sent as part of the sequence. I'm checking if somebody has opened the first email. Now I'm curious to see if somebody has opened the second email that I've sent out to them as well. So I go to condition again and then choose the same condition which says has opened email. And then this time I'm going to choose the second email as part of the sequence. And again, I'm going to choose a delay of 1 day, and I connect them both. Now, if they opened the second email as well, and I'll probably want to give them another score of 10 points. So as it is the same action that I'm performing, I have the option to duplicate it. I'm just duplicating it and I connect it to this. Now, at this point, I probably want to look for all the contacts which have a certain score on them. If I go to condition, contact score is, and then a score of greater than 20 points, and I connect this to this. Now, all the contacts which have a certain score, right, or maybe score of 20, I probably want to assign them to my sales team for them to go ahead and call them, considering that they are now actively engaging in the correspondence by opening the emails that I'm sending out. Let's say I have 2 sales guys in my sales team. I can pick them both and equally distribute all contacts to the sales guys that I'm selecting here. So I go to assign owner. Let's say these are the 2 sales guys I have in my team. As you can see, it equally assigns contacts among the selected users, and I connect this to this. Now as a next step, I want to assign a task for these sales guys to go ahead and call the contact. So I go to condition, or rather CRM and sales tab, and I go to add new task, ask, then I give it a name, then choose what kind of tasks. You can customize these types based on what kind of tasks you want to create for your users, and then give it a description. I'm just going to say follow up to close, and when is it going to be due, who would be the owner contact or deal owner himself, and then what is the status. I'm going to put it as in progress, and I connect them both. If you're following the process, you just create a form on EngageBay and add it to your website. Once somebody fills out the form, they are automatically added to the sequence. They start receiving those emails. Now you're having the automation check for contacts who are opening those emails. Based on that, you're giving them a score. Then you check if they open the second email as well, give them another score of 10 points. And at a certain point, you're looking for all the contacts with a certain score on them. And all the contacts have that score. You're assigning them to your sales team for them to go ahead and call them. So you're generating leads from your website, you're engaging and nurturing them through the automation, and you're identifying potential prospects, and you're assigning them to your sales team all through single automation. This is just a use case, but based on the different actions and conditions that you could see here, you can pretty much automate any process for your marketing or sales using the automations feature that we offer as part of the platform. And we also offer workflows as part of the platform. The only difference between an automation and a workflow is the way contacts are added to each of them. So if you remember, when we created the automation, it asked us to choose a trigger as to who we want to trigger the automation on, and all the contacts that satisfy the trigger condition, the automation would be executed on them, whereas for a workflow you wouldn't need to do that. You just create the process. As you can see, it just asks you to start. So the same steps that I used on the automation, like adding them to a sequence, I can use that on the workflow as well, and then checking for opens on emails. I have all those options. Adding score. I pretty much have all the options. In fact, actions and conditions would remain the same when you're creating an automation or a workflow. But it's just the starting point which differentiates if it's going to be an automation or a workflow. As you could see, when you create an automation, there are certain triggers that you could use to trigger an automation. But what if you have contacts which do not satisfy any of these trigger conditions, but you still want to run a process on them? The trigger conditions you could see here, you need to choose from any of these. But what if there are contacts on your database which never filled out a form, which never filled out a pop-up, they do not have any tags on them, you haven't sent any emails to them, and you still want to execute a certain process on them? That is where you create a workflow, and then you choose who you want to execute that workflow on and get them added to the workflow. You would see the option under bulk actions to execute a workflow. Based on who you want to add to the workflow, you choose those contacts and which workflow you want to execute on them. You go ahead and choose to execute that workflow on all the contacts.